Now that I have kids, and my biggest fear is not seeing my kids grow up. And if they love me half as much as I love them, I'd be tickled.
My name's Mitch, and this is my safety story. 2 years ago, October, I was helping the neighbors harvest and got a call about 6 o'clock, 6:30, right in there, and wanted to know if I could take a semi to another field for them. So my wife Tammy and the kids were here, and I thought we'd just pile in a vehicle and run over, grab the semi, and take it down to the field. And Tammy and my youngest, Kaylin, they could pick Colton and I up and bring us back. So I had an old '75 Chevy Caprice that I drove to and from work, and I thought, oh heck, let's just pile in the cruiser, as the kids call it, and we'll take the semi down, and they can bring me home. So we were kind of getting ready to go, and the more I thought about it, I thought, you know, we weren't going to throw a safety car seat in for Kalen. He'd have been 2 at that time, and I thought something didn't feel right, and so I said, you know what, let's just take the pickup. I had a '05 Dodge Ram, and that way we got car seats and everything. So we left here and went over and picked the semi up. And Colton, my oldest, he'd have been 4, got in the semi with me. We put him in his booster seat, buckled him in, and my wife, Tammy, and Kaylin were buckled into the pickup, and we took off and headed south. As you know, in October, the sun kind of gets that glare to it, and was kind of wanting to go down in the west, and the roads were just god-awful dry that year. You know, I mean, it didn't take much of a speed at all to get some dust going. And so they were following me, and we got about a mile south of where we picked the semi up, and the dust was just terrible, and I come to a stop sign and looked both ways. Nobody was coming, and I just happened to look in the mirror to see where my wife was, and the dust had cleared just enough, and I saw her coming, and I thought, you know, there's no way she's going to get stopped. So I hurried up and let the clutch out, try to get through the intersection before she hit us, and it was too late. She ran into the back of the grain trailer, which was empty, and she literally pushed us through the intersection. As soon as she hit us, I stepped the clutch back in, and she pushed us probably, I'm gonna guess 50 feet or better. Made sure my 4-year-old was all right in the truck with me, and hurried up and ran back to the pickup, and couldn't see anything through the windows. I assumed the airbags had been deployed, so opened the driver's door, and Tammy kind of looked up at me, and I asked her if she was all right. She said yeah, and I opened the back door up where my 2-year-old was, and everything was quiet, you know, and it just, you know, I was expecting the worst. And he looked up and started crying. He had a little bit of blood coming out of his lip where he'd bit through his lip. But, you know, they were both buckled in. Colton was buckled in the semi. It actually hit us so hard that the CB radio and the company radio came out of the headliner and landed down on the floor. We fell back, or the seats went back when she hit us. My head hit the window in the back of the truck, cracked the window, totaled the semi-trailer, totaled my pickup, shoved the axles of the grain trailer probably 8 to 10 inches forward, rippled the rub rail down the side of the trailer at least halfway. It was the worst day of my life. And you know, I think back, and I think we were that close to getting in the cruiser, as the kids call it, which my wife probably would have put her seatbelt on we wouldn't have had a seat in there for Kaylin, which does not seem right at all, you know, why you would buckle yourself up and not your 2-year-old. And I think a lot of my safety practices that I practice here on the farm are related dramatically to working for NPPD at Sheldon Station. You know, I've been there 5 years, and I can honestly say 5, 6 years ago, we'd have probably been in the cruiser headed down the road, and I wouldn't have a wife and a 2-year-old anymore. You know, it's just, it was that close. So, I don't know. You know, I guess seat belts do save lives. I've never been a big proponent of seat belts. My kids remind me every day, if I don't put it on, which 99% of the time I do, that there's those times when we get in and another short trip down the road to help the neighbors, and the first thing Colton will say is, "Dad, your seatbelt." And it's a very important part of staying alive nowadays. You know, they always say accidents happen closest to home, and you know, we learn that in real life fashion. I'm Mitch Homolka, and I choose to be safe at work and for my family.